Now, besides the fact that almost every single person in the world now owns the Canon M50, which I have nothing against, by the way, I mean, it is a good camera. But here are 5 reasons why I picked up the Sony A6100 over it and why you should definitely do the same right after the intro. Also, I made sure this video wasn't too long so you guys can watch it till the end, where I mention the strengths the Canon M50 has over this camera. So check it out. So one of the first things I looked for before picking this up was, how long can I use this for? What features will still be useful for me in the next 2, 3, 4 years? And it all came down to 2 things really. One I'll talk about later in this video, but the main thing is the video resolution. Now, the Canon M50 shoots 1080p at 60 fps at its maximum and 4K at 24 and 25 fps. But get this, the Sony A6100 takes it a step further by shooting 1080p at 120 fps and 4K at 30 fps. Now, it's not like this guy can edit anything more than 1080p, but having that 4K option in the long run really sets your mind at ease, especially if you plan on upgrading your laptop sooner or later, or yours can already handle 4K editing. Also know that shooting on 4K on this thing will give you an additional 1.6x crop, and you also lose a more reliable autofocus. But I mean, you have to lose some to gain some, right? You have to gain some. Before continuing this video, if you're new to the channel and you are interested in filmmaking, or you just want to learn how to shoot better videos with your phone, then you should definitely consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss out on future videos like this one, and it helps me out a lot. I'll also be posting my full review of this camera sometime next week, so be sure to turn on post notifications so you'll be the first to know when this video drops. Now, although these 2 cameras don't offer flat profiles for shooting videos, I mean, Sony cameras have always been the beasts and masters in low light performance, and the Sony A6100 isn't any less. Here are some pictures I took in very low light scenarios, and trust me, this place was dark, even for my iPhone 8. Up on number 3, the A6100 has a better battery life than the one of the Canon M50. Now, you can't really expect much from this aspect for mirrorless cameras in general, but comparing these 2 cameras, the A6100 can take 420 shots against the 230 shots that the Canon M50 can take right off a full charge. Now, I don't have the Canon M50 in hand to show you guys a detailed comparison in this aspect, but a very reliable site, Camera Decision, has it in their article featuring these 2 cameras. I'll have the link to that article down in the description below so you can watch it after, so you can read it after you finish watching this video. Now, still on the battery aspect, we have number 4, which is the ability to charge this camera while you're using it. And to be honest, this is probably like my second best feature on this camera after the resolutions, of course. And it's just a game changer, to be honest. I mean, I could just get like a power bank and plug it up to this thing and have like a full day of shooting videos. Although I would advise to use the official Sony charger that comes with the box of this thing so you don't damage your camera. While on the Canon M50, you have to always monitor your battery so it doesn't die when you're filming. But you could always get, you know, like extra batteries just in case that happens. And at number 5, we have way more lens options available for the Sony A6100 over the Canon M50 because it uses the same E-mount that the newer Sony cameras have, like the A70 and the A7S and its like. And this is something people don't really take into consideration before picking up a camera, and it can really limit them in the long run. Although there are lens adapters available for the Canon M50's EFM mount to regular Canon EF mount that will enable you to use the standard Canon camera lenses for the Canon M50, but this will just give your camera like an additional weight, so you have to spend the extra bucks for it. So just as a rough number, there are 120 lenses available for the Sony A6100 against just 22 or 23 lenses available for the Canon M50 EFM mount. That's the lens you have to use without the adapter. Now, you're probably thinking, after all this I've mentioned, what's the catch? Well, my friend, there's always a catch, especially considering these 2 cameras are basically the same price. At number 1, you'll be sacrificing a better autofocus that the Canon M50 has. But don't get me wrong now, the autofocus on the Sony A6100 is pretty good. It has face tracking, animal eye tracking, and human eye tracking, which are all real time if you want to record or you want to shoot pictures. But the one on the Canon M50 is just better because it uses a dual pixel autofocus technology. The second catch is the lack of full touchscreen usage. Now the Sony A6100 does have a touchscreen LCD, but it's limited to just selecting your focus points while we're about to shoot, and also checking out a zoomed in photo from your preview, which doesn't really make sense to me. I'm coming from a Canon user interface, and just seeing this really bugs me out. Which brings us to the third catch, which is a less user-friendly interface. And this thing is really confusing. You can literally get lost in here. I got lost myself. I had to watch a 15-minute tutorial on how to set up this camera to your taste, especially coming from a Canon interface. It's just, but if you get this camera, I mean, there's nothing you cannot just get used to. I'm started getting the hang of it little by little, and so can you. Also, Canon released a software that will enable you to use your camera as a webcam for streaming, if you're streaming YouTube, Twitch, or Zoom meetings, really, that will give you, an extra quality for your content. And I think that's pretty cool. Sony doesn't have anything like that, so I just added that as an additional bonus to the Canon M50 users out there. And I'll have a link down in the description to a video that explained more about that software and the Canon M50 stuff, as well as how to use it, down in the description below. And that's been it. And I hope with these few points of mine, I'll be able to convince you and not to confuse you that, well, you get the point. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Will you still consider getting the Canon M50 after watching this video, or have I convinced you a bit? Let me know in the comment section. Also, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them down there as well. If this video was helpful for you, or maybe you just like seeing my face, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more filmmaking videos. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next one. Hey, before you go, if you're not too busy, you can check out some other videos I have on the channel. I mean, I do make pretty good videos.